Everything you are about to see actually happened. 8 hours a day for 36 days, a special Senate subcommittee held televised hearings known as the Army McCarthy hearings in the spring of 1954. In these hearings, the Army charged that Senator McCarthy and his chief counsel, Roy Cohn, had first tried to keep G. David Schine, a consultant to the McCarthy committee, out of the Army. Second, that they tried to get a direct commission for Schine. And finally, once he was inducted, that they sought special favor for him. McCarthy and Cohn countercharged that the Army attempted blackmail by holding Private Schine as a hostage in order to stop McCarthy's investigation of alleged communism at various Army bases. The subject was not G. David Schine, a single Army private, but the American democracy, and the hearings became the greatest political spectacle of its history.
One of the best things that had ever happened to me in my life was my opportunity for service in the United States Army in 2 world wars.
I've never filed a brief. I've never drawn a complaint. I'm strictly a Washington-type lawyer.
I came down from Boston in the guise of a simple trial lawyer. I supposed I'd try to think up some questions to ask witnesses, and then if I didn't like the answer, ask another one.
Presiding over these hearings is a responsibility which I do not welcome.
To the best of my ability, I am pursuing this investigation in order to develop the facts.
We're performing a public duty, a public trust, one of the most disagreeable ones I've ever had to perform in the course of my public service.
I have no interest in life that surpasses my great concern for the vitality of our armed forces.
I am a private in the United States Army. I have received many orders, quite unusual for a private in the Army to receive.
Roy Cohn is here speaking for Roy Cohn to give the facts. I have no counsel.
The average American can do very little insofar as digging communist espionage agents out of our government is concerned. They must depend upon those of us whom they send down here to man the watchtowers of the nation. The thing that the American people can do is to be vigilant day and night to make sure they don't have communists teaching the sons and daughters of America. Now, I realize that the minute anyone tries to get a communist out of a college, out of a university, there will be raised the phony cry that you're interfering with academic freedom. I would like to emphasize that there is no academic freedom where a communist is concerned. He is not a free agent. He has no freedom of thought, no freedom of expression. He must take his orders from Moscow, or he will no longer be a member of the Communist Party. Now, I may say, Mr. Jenkins, I don't care how much of a screwball or a crackpot any professor or teacher may be, as long as he or she is a free agent. But once you have this United States, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, covered with a network of professors and teachers who are getting their orders from Moscow from an organization that wants to destroy this nation, that wants to corrupt the minds of youth, then, Mr. Jenkins, we are rapidly losing the battle. The thing that I think we must remember is that this is a war which a brutalitarian force has won to a greater extent than any brutalitarian force has won a war in the history of the world before. For example, Christianity, which has been in existence for 2,000 years, has not converted, convinced nearly as many people as this communist brutalitarianism has enslaved in 106 years. And they're not going to stop. I know that many of my good friends seem to feel that this is sort of a game you can play. That you can talk about communism as though it's something 10,000 miles away. Mr. Jenkins, in answer to your question, let me say it's right here with us now. Unless we make sure that there is no infiltration of our government, then just as certain as you sit there, in the period of our lives, you will see a red world. Sure. Mr. Jenkins, anyone who has followed the communist conspiracy, even remotely, and who can add 2 and 2, will tell you that there is no remote possibility of this war which we're in today, and it's a war which we've been losing, no remote possibility of this ending except by victory or by death for this civilization.